Championship Series on FS1 presented by Loan Depot. It is Game 5 from T-Mobile Park, and who's it going to be with this best of 7, now best of 3? Will it be the Blue Jays for the first time in 32 years? Or will the Mariners make it to the Fall Classic for the first time? We welcome you inside. Welcome to your weekend. Joe Davis with the Hall of Famer John Smoltz. These Toronto Blue Jays, after losing the first 2 games of this series, have come here to Seattle. And the most obvious thing is the offense, but really, it's been everything. The veteran starting pitchers have been great. They've done the little things, too.
They've been the most complete team after those first 2 games. There's really not a weakness. They've made the plays defensively when they've had to. When you think about a pickoff that hasn't happened in a long time, that kills a rally. Well, how about this throw from right field? And who knows what this inning would have turned into if the runner didn't get thrown out at third. And oh, let's not forget, offensively, they are about as good as it gets since Game 2. 21 runs. You see all the numbers. They're hard to pitch to. Games 1 and 2 did not work out, but now they seem unstoppable.
Well, the Mariners offensively have relied on the home run, and they've relied on some stars at the top of the order. But yesterday, they didn't have anything from the top of the order, and they got to have somebody step up here. This season's going to end.
Yeah, they're relying really on a couple guys right now. When you try to live by the home run, you might die by the home run. They've got to get some guys on base and drive them in. When you think about the Seattle Mariners, only 2 guys really are having a kind of a good series. The rest of the team has been struggling. Yes, they've hit 8 home runs, but I think the biggest thing that the Seattle Mariners are facing right now, if they don't get somebody to slow down the Toronto offense, like Bryce Miller did in Game 1, look what's happened after that. To win 2 more games, they're going to need length, and they're going to need excellent pitching.
All right, so it's come down to 3 games. The road team winning every game so far, and this ALCS has become a toss-up.
Can't write a script. That's why baseball's baseball. You never know how it's going to happen. It's been everything that you don't think it's going to happen. That's what tends to happen. Come on, boys, give us some drama. Oh, there's going to be drama. Here they come.
And this best of 7 has become a best of 3. The road team reigning supreme.
Are you having any fun? What you getting out of living? Who cares for what you've got if you're not having any fun? Are you having any laugh? Are you getting any loving? If other people do, why can't you have a little fun? After the honey's in the comb.
Road teams have won this series. They've ruined the parties in these respective cities, winning all 4 games by a combined score of 34-10. Just about set for first pitch of Game 5, and we go down to the field. Here's Ken Rosenthal.
Thanks, Joe. In both of Kevin Gausman's postseason starts, John Schneider removed him around the 75-pitch mark of the 6th inning as Gausman navigated his 3rd trip through the batting order. The first time, it made perfect sense. The Yankees had cut the deficit to 2-1 and loaded the bases with 2 outs. The second time, Schneider arguably pulled Gausman too early. Gausman had retired 16 in a row before allowing a home run to Cal Raleigh and a walk to Julio Rodriguez. Schneider said he lost some sleep over that decision, and the same inflection point could loom today, leaving the manager with some more difficult bullpen choices. Now, over to Tom Verducci.
Well, thanks, Ken. When Julio Rodriguez arrived at the ballpark today, he was told, "The manager wants to see you in his office." Julio joked with Dan Wilson, "What have I done wrong?" The real problem, the lineup. After the last 2 days of the night, they've been outscored 21-6, Dan Wilson is shuffling the deck. Now, he checked with Julio to make sure he was okay with batting leadoff, which he's done 14 times, but not since July. Jorge Polanco moves into the number 3 spot for the first time this year with Josh Naylor behind him at 4. The basic idea is to move the hotter hitters higher in the lineup. Now, Dan Wilson has used 100 different lineups this year. The one he is rolling out tonight in Game 5 is unlike all the others. Joe.
All right, Tom, they had Richard Sherman, the former Seattle Seahawk, down there on the field behind the guys, getting this crowd cranked up. And with the roof closed, it is extra loud today. Here's Same Game Parlay, available now on FanDuel. Kevin Gausman had 5 strikeouts in the first matchup between these teams. Cal Raleigh took him deep and has 4 times in his career. And Eugenio Suarez quietly actually does have a hit in each of the 4 games in this series. Lineup for the Blue Jays in Game 5, and they have been cooking. George Springer leads things off, and then it's Nathan Lucas, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., 5 home runs, tying a postseason record for Toronto. Alejandro Kirk's the cleanup man with Dalton Varsho hitting 5th in center field. Ernie Clement hitting .452 in the postseason. Barger, Kiner-Falefa, and Jimenez round things out. And we take a look at Fox Foresight, powered by Google Cloud. 21 runs over the first 2 games of this series. 57-1 this year when they get to 6 runs, and a bunch of blowout wins in this postseason for these Blue Jays. It is Bryce Miller for the Mariners. Game 1 was his best start of the season. He gave up a home run on the very first pitch to George Springer and just 1 hit the rest of the way and went 6.
Yeah, the one thing I wrote down to look for in this game is watch if he can get Toronto uncomfortable. And what I mean by that is he's got to move his fastball in and up. He's got to get in on some right-handed hitters who have definitely taken the outside part of plate away. There's the breakdown of pitches, and he was very successful elevating. Even though during the year his elevated fastball did not play well, it played well in the first game against the Toronto Blue Jays.
So only had 3 strikeouts in that game. There were 15 balls in play and only 1 hit for the Blue Jays. So some bad luck in there for the Jays. And we're talking to John Schneider about that. He said, yeah, it's a little bit don't change a thing because a lot of the process was good, but at the same time, how much is he going to change?
He's going to have to see the last 2 games that his teammates pitched against Toronto and notice that they have controlled the strike zone again. And Springer hit a fastball away for a homer. Guerrero, fastball away for a homer. You do that as a pitcher until they show you they can do what you're trying not to get them to do. That's when you got to bust them in to open up the outside part of the plate again.
Jays trying to sweep the 3 games in Seattle, get to within 1 win of the World Series for the first time since 1993. Mariners have gone from up 2-0 to 2 games apiece, their last chance in front of their home crowd in this championship series. Springer settles in, Miller fires, and off we go with a fastball to the same spot that Springer hit it out, but it's a called strike.
Yeah, they tried to go in, and again, that was a good first pitch to try to go in. He just pulled it away and got the strike.
Springer yesterday doubled 5 consecutive games with an extra base hit for him. 76th career postseason game. Takes downstairs, 1 ball, 1 strike.
What Miller has to offer is 4 pitches that he can get you out with, and that is a luxury against a team that really commands the strike zone and doesn't swing outside the strike zone too often.
Splitter. That pitch has become a weapon again lately.
And that's the pitch that he's thrown with some success. That's the pitch that typically will give the change in speeds north and south and will go right off of his fastball and play well.
1-2 pitch. 27 years of age at New Braunfels, Texas. 3rd season in the major leagues. Last year he was top 10 in the majors with a sub-3 ERA. Injuries this season. He's got a 5.5 ERA, but finding his best form down the stretch. His 2-2 to George Springer. A fastball is elevated and cut on and miss. 98 for Miller, feeling froggy.
Again, that's going to be the key. In for effect, up for outs. But you have to control the count to get the hitters to swing at that pitch. If you're behind in the count, they are not going to swing at that pitch. Springer knows it looked better out of his hand than it did in the end result. And a K to start the game.
Yeah, fastball has always been his superpower, but for a lot of this season was not nearly as good. Much better down the stretch. He's been elevating it more down the stretch. And the velocity is high as it's been all season here in the postseason. Nathan Lucas climbs in. Miller throws an elevated fastball at 98 again.
Yeah, he pounded him up a lot in that game, and he had about a 10 pitch at bat, and eventually he ended up walking him, but that's the area again to watch for tonight. See how many fastballs he can get top of the zone. You get a lot of pop-ups and flyouts if they're located well.
Well, the Blue Jays over the first 2 games hit just 114 against fastballs, but they're hitting 417 against fastballs the last 2 games. Nobody's attacked up, though, like Miller did in that first game. A lot of fastballs center cut, a lot of them away. Hitting coach David Popkins was helped turn around this offense. 23rd in the majors last year, 4th this year. On a 2-1, Lucas pops it foul, 2-2. Well, here's where he went. Up with that fastball against a pretty good high fastball hitting team, but his is unique.
Yeah, a lot of success, a lot of early outs after that first inning where he threw a ton of pitches.
Fires 2-2, sticks with it, popped up. Suarez down the line. Rosarena comes on, and Suarez catches it twice. Little double catch there for the second out of the first inning.
He had to cover a lot of ground. This is a great play. This at bat right here will tell me a lot about Bryce Miller and his approach against Vlad Guerrero.
Guerrero strokes one to left center field. That's headed for the gap, up against the wall. Guerrero 7 for 10 since the series has shifted to Seattle.
Yeah, and that is not what I expected to see on that first pitch with 2 outs. Granted, it's 2 outs, but this was the time to change the rest of the at-bats for Guerrero. And maybe because nobody was on, he had the freedom to throw that fastball. But you're talking about a guy so locked in right now, you've got to do something different to get him off of his game plan, because he is basically telling you wherever you throw it, I can hit it.
Man, oh man, does he look calm and comfy. Into scoring position, 2-out chance for Alejandro Kirk. Jays catcher fouls off a high fastball. Here's one of the best high fastball hitters in the sport.
Yeah, a little bit in his bat angle right now, getting underneath, almost squatting a little too much. And when he's good at hitting the high fastball, he's got that flat, and he's not squatting, and he's on top of the ball. That one he was underneath, but don't think you can keep throwing it up there and him not make the adjustment.
It goes up and in.
That's the pitch. There needs to be at least 10 more of those during the game on right-handed hitters who have had a freedom of just leaning out over the plate and owning the batter's box.
Whole lineup full of very comfortable Blue Jays hitters. Miller trying to make them feel him. His 1-1 pitch. The high fastball. He's ahead 1-2. Sinker that time. Mixing in both of his fastballs. And so Miller strike away from putting up a 0 in this first inning. Mariners have not been able to capitalize on this wonderful crowd yet. Well, so far he's saying this is who I am. This is what makes me good, and sticking with it.
Yeah, definitely getting the fastball and beating the Blue Jays hitters up so far. The ball down. Guerrero laced for a double.
Another 1-2 to Kirk. Got him to chase a sweeper. That thing moved a mile. And Bryce Miller has put up a 0 in the first inning. Dan Wilson looking for a spark from his superstar. Just one time since April has Julio Rodriguez hit leadoff, but here In Game 5 of the championship series, he is up there to the top spot. Everybody slides up. Arozarena moves down and hits 5th. And then Suarez, Crawford, Canzone, and Rivas. And it's a rematch for them against the Game 1 starter, Kevin Gausman.
Well, Kevin Gausman's been outstanding, especially the first 5 innings. He's been really tough to hit. Spots his fastball, rarely is it in the middle of the zone. He has done a great job pitching in and out with his fastball and killing them with the splitter. And the Mariners have to hit fastballs tonight. They have no chance to go to the World Series if they don't start barreling up some fastballs, hittable strikes, and be a little more aggressive.
Julio chance start earlier than usual here. And on a first pitch fastball, a fly ball to center field. 1 pitch. And 1 out for Kevin Gausman. 2 starts in the postseason for Gausman, and you mentioned it, almost identical in that he did not give up a run over the first 5 innings and then ran into trouble in the 6th.
But that's the approach. I like that first pitch swinging aggressiveness out of Rodriguez. I know he popped it up, but eventually the Seattle Mariners, if they're going to get on any kind of roll and make any kind of stressful situations for John Schneider and Toronto, they've got to get more runners on base, and they've got to control the strike zone because they have struck out way too much.
Well, the trouble that Gausman ran into in Game 1 was this guy right here, Cal Raleigh, who tied the game with a 6th inning home run. It was not the first time that he's done it to Gausman. Look at those numbers. 470, 4 home runs against Gausman in his career.
Well, he's got to mix it up. He's thrown him in the second at bat where he hit the home run, a bunch of splits in a row. And they were all in the same area. And so when you get to see that as a hitter 5 times in one at bat, you leave one up just a little bit. Next thing you know, it's a homer.
Bottom of the order for the Mariners has done nothing. Yesterday, the top of the order did nothing. 1 through 4 hitless for the first time all season. Raleigh just 1 of his last 10. Corks one to deep right field. Back it goes, and it's off the glove of Barger. Raleigh's headed for second. He's got a double.
Wow, Barger almost made an incredible play. He was playing deep. When this ball was first hit, there's no chance I thought he had an ability to catch it. Squares it up. There's a fastball. Got to hit it. And he hits it and gets rewarded because this almost was a catch and almost really a catchable ball that he just missed in the glove.
Barger's playing out there these last couple games for the first time in more than a month. Made a couple good plays yesterday. Couldn't haul that one in. And here's a chance for Seattle in the first inning. Jorge Polanco, who's come through time and again for the Mariners in this postseason, but the last couple days quiet. Well, they've continued to hit home runs. They've hit as many home runs as the Blue Jays have in this series, but in the 2 games here, 2 for 20 with men on base. Polanco takes in the dirt 1-1.
Runners on and chance to score. He's going to go to that split a lot, and so you have to be disciplined, and Polanco is one of the best disciplined hitters in their lineup. They have too many guys in their lineup right now that you don't have to throw a strike to. That's not a good thing.
340 hitter with runners in scoring position. Polanco is ahead 2-1.
You've got to tell yourself that if the ball is down, it's going to stay down, meaning more than likely it's a split that goes below the zone. But if he hits the bottom of the zone with a fastball and you take it, that's the chance. Yeah.
Here's his 2-1. It is a fastball very low. I asked Jorge Polanco the other day, do you remember the first time you were clutch? And he lit up and he said, I actually do. I was 11 playing in a Little League game. We were down to our last out, and I hit my first home run ever over the fence. And it's always been who he's been. Steady, comfy in the big spots. Gausman gets the call.
The reason that hurts right there, and the reason Polanco's like, now you put me in a bad spot. That was a splitter below the zone, way below the zone. And that's an unfortunate call for a hitter who now thinks he knows where the bottom of the zone is. And now this 3-2 pitch can be anything. It could be a fastball low that he's got to go after, or a split that's low that he'd have a hard time staying off.
Especially when you just did what the plan is. If it's low, leave it down there. He does, but doesn't get rewarded for it.
Well, this pitch here, I thought that was a really good pitch, throwing a fastball after the split. Now I think the split comes right back into play. But again, the hitter's going to understand right away what he thinks the strike zone is, and if it's measured right, he's going to be good. But if he gets a call like that, now it's a little bit of doubt in his mind.
Raleigh at second, one away, and the 3-2. He spoils it. That same pitch.
Yeah. I mean, he's pitching exactly the way you should based on the count and what just happened. And Polanco spoiled 2 of them.
Eighth pitch of this at bat coming to Jorge Polanco. Swings and misses. Best splitter yet. The league 1 for 17 against that pitch in the postseason.
Obviously, next year that count would have gone to ball 4 because the hitter could have challenged. But we're not in next year. And that pitch, why he swung at it, was primarily because of the 3-1 pitch that was called a strike, and it definitely was not.
One of the benefits of the lineup change is they get Josh Naylor 1 spot higher. 3 more hits yesterday for Naylor, and hitting .500 over his last 6 games.
Well, an unexpected home run by somebody in this lineup or a huge 2-out hit. Those are the things that can turn a game and start creating momentum for an offense. Seattle has not had that in a while.
Jimenez has been that guy for the Blue Jays. Home runs back-to-back days out of the 9 spot, but Mariners searching for that big hit. It's amazing how the tone and the mood changes. Up 2-0 leaving Toronto, and now tied at 2, but it feels like the deck is stacked against him. The 1-1 pitch. Ball 2.
Here's Naylor's trouble right now. He knows he's not going to get pitched to because of who's on deck. And the right-hander struggling in Arozarena. So he's trying to recognize, when do I go for a pitch that looks good enough? And that first pitch, he never thought he was going to get a first pitch fastball. That's why he took it. He's really locking in on a split.
He gets one elevated, bounces it to first. Guerrero takes it himself. And that's the inning. Unable to take advantage of the double from Raleigh. No score after 1 in Game 5. Don Varsho heads up there to lead off the inning for the Blue Jays. You can wear what he and the players are wearing on field during the postseason. Check out the largest selection of authentic gear at MLBshop.com for your favorite postseason team gear. Bryce Miller revved up in that first inning. Regular season averaged 94.8 with his fastball. He was 97.6 in the first. Struck out Springer with the single hardest pitch of his career. It was above 98. And he starts this inning with a splitter for a strike.
A little extra rest, and this game being the teeter-totter game, right? You got 2-2. Someone's going to go up 3-2 and put themselves in a real good position to have to win only 1 more.
That's the thing, right? I mean, it's like, oh man, the world is ending if you're the Mariners right now, just like it felt like when you were the Blue Jays leaving Toronto. But you win 1 game, and you're 1 win away from going to the World Series.
Yeah, they got to get their confidence back, and it starts on the mound. And this might be the guy that, you know, just has the secret sauce. That Game 1, the Blue Jays were super aggressive, and Game 5 here now, they're super aggressive again. Blue Jays looking for mistakes.
Varsho on 1-2, takes inside, and the count evens up. This place built on starting pitching, but the last 3 games, Gilbert goes just 3 innings. Kirby gives up a postseason record 8 runs. Castillo, the Rock, 2 1/3. That's a 12.5 ERA the last 3 games for Mariners starters. Bryce Miller trying to be the cure. Now, who would have thought he'd be the guy they'd be leaning on? You look at how this regular season went, and if this series has proven anything, that is, we don't know nothing. Expect the unexpected.
That's for sure.
Max Scherzer, what he did yesterday. Here's another 2-2. And a high fastball popped into shallow center field. Routine for Leo Rivas. One away in the second.
Well, this next guy, there should not be many first pitch fastballs the rest of the series. He has shown you that A, he wants to hit the first pitch, and B, he's been getting a lot of hits. So mix it up. Even though there's nobody on base, I would throw a first pitch split or slider
to Clement.
2 more hits yesterday, 452 in the postseason for Clement. One of the many role players that has emerged on this Blue Jays roster this year. It is a first pitch fastball, and he was swinging.
He was swinging. Good located, though. See, that's the difference. You can make those fastball pitches to an aggressive hitter as long as you locate it and get it out of that sweet spot where they're up there ready to hack at it.
Here's Clement's look at it. It is a bunt down, or it tries to, but it's popped back, and it's 0-2. You know, we talk about this Mariners staff being the best strike throwing staff in baseball. Has met its match with this aggressive strike hitting Toronto team, but not every strike is created equal.
Right, exactly.
Miller's been able to throw strikes that have been tough to hit in his start plus. Clement swats it up the middle, but Rivas is there. Leo Rivas plucking that ball, taking a hit away from Clement.
Outstanding play on a not so good pitch. 0-2, and he left it right there. It's a bad feeling for a pitcher, and then it gets rewarded by a great play by the infielder, and you're like, okay, all right, can't do that again. But that's a great play.
Rivas, one of the reasons Dan Wilson put him into the lineup yesterday was for his defense. Makes a play right there. 2 up and 2 down in this second inning. Addison Barger, speaking of plays defensively, Barger yesterday doubled, walked, scored a run, but made a huge impact with his arm defensively.
Sure did. He's been clocked at 98 miles an hour out of the outfield. I did get the scoop. He's pitched before, so it makes sense.
The high 90s is a high school pitcher. This guy who bats lefty because he wanted to be like Ichiro. We've mentioned growing up a Mariners fan. That leg kick is for the same reason. And then how about yesterday in the same right field that Ichiro roamed for 14 seasons? There was Barger doing an impression of his hero, a diving catch and an outfield assist. And Ichiro, you know all about the hits, but he had as good of an arm as anybody in that era. Barger's bat has come to life coming here to his hometown. Homered in the first game here. And then the double yesterday. On a 2-1 here. Rips it foul. You guys never seen a pitch he doesn't like.
No, that's inner half turned on quickly. And you want to see the disparity of strikeouts. It's pretty significant.
Yeah, again, both these teams have hit 8 home runs, but in the postseason, Toronto hitting 300 as a team, Seattle hitting 215 with double the strikeouts. 2-2 to Addison Barger. Swing and a miss. He got him with a splitter. It's the third one for Bryce Miller. Over 2 scoreless. T-Mobile, the best network in the game, is now the best network in America. As the roof is closed for the first time in this championship series, Mariners hoping that it changes their luck. It is Randy Arozarena, dropped out of the leadoff spot for the first time since July, leading off this inning against Kevin Gausman and taking a strike.
And doing a lot of that. Just taking inside pitch after inside pitch, getting behind in the count, and not really changing or putting fear in the opposing pitcher's mind.
6 for 38, 16 strikeouts in this postseason for Arozarena, and he's just had it all backwards.
Yeah, he really has. He's taken more fastballs than I've remembered him taking in a long time, and then swinging at pitches out of the zone.
Ground ball to third. Backhand Clement. 1 away in the second. You got this part of the order right here. Yeah, you get Arozarena out of the leadoff spot and get your top guys up 1 through 4. But Arozarena and Suarez hitting back-to-back here feels like a really easy lane for the pitcher.
That's the only downside until these guys get on track and change the way that they've gone about it. You know, yes, they can he run into a home run? Absolutely. But his window of doing that has to be an absolute middle pitch right now, because the way he's swinging and the way they're pitching him, they don't have to throw him a strike.
Gausman put it on a tee. Suarez did not miss. 51st of the year.
And that is a pitch selection they're going to want back, because he threw this right down the middle. Look where he's trying to throw it. And that's about the only place right now. And who knows if that gets him on track. But he had been missing a lot of pitches with some pop-ups and swing and miss. And he threw a fastball for the first time since we've been watching Gausman middle.
Mariners on the board first with a home run from Suarez. Now J.P. Crawford fouls it off. And you see a guy who hits 49 home runs during the regular season, and then he gets to the postseason and can't do anything. And it's like, why? Well, it's the perfect argument for why bat-to-ball ability is an important quality in the postseason. A lot of those home runs come against guys who are not dialed in around the corners of the plate. You're not facing the top guys every day in the regular season the way you are this time of year.
Absolutely. And what gets magnified is exactly what you talked about. And look, again, in a game early enough, that pitch later in the game would be crushing to Gausman, because he didn't have to throw him a strike. He could have thrown 4 balls close to the zone and probably got swings out of it. But he did the one thing you can't do, and fortunately it's only a solo home run. It cost him only 1 run.
6 of the 7 runs in these 3 games in Seattle have come via the home run. Crawford is 2 out of 13 in this championship series. Takes a little bit high. Shortstop for the Mariners, their longest tenured guy.
Now the problem for the Mariners has not been getting in the scoreboard first. They've done that a lot this postseason. The problem is holding that lead and making it last, especially against Toronto.
Crawford's worked it full. Gausman's 3-2. Crawford takes ball 4. First walk issued by Gausman after the home run from Suarez.
Well, every swing is the same for Suarez, right? So first pitch is the same as the last pitch if it's a 6th pitch of the at bat. And he has this swing grooved so that that ball gets to that area. That ball's not coming back.
Crawford aboard, can zone up. He hooks a line drive right field. Barger comes on, makes a sliding catch. And you'd never know that this guy hadn't played right field in a month.
Yeah. This ball was sinking too. And he did a nice job getting to it. And when he gets up, he's like, really? I'm going to throw you out.
Yeah, right. You can careful. He's touched 100 with a throw from the outfield this year. 2 outs. Rivas. For 2 yesterday in his first start. He did have the walk, but then was picked off first base. And kind of thing, couple outs on the bases made by the Mariners, things that they just cannot have happen. Trying to get that offense going. Rivas got to the major leagues last year, made 23 starts after almost a decade in the minors. This season, most of it in AAA again. 24 starts at the major league level. He was one of the best hitters in the minors. Had a 470 on base. I know it was AAA, but a 470 on base that was 40 points better than anybody else in the minors. And an 0-2 hole here against Gausman. Jays righty comes home. Rivas fouls it off and stays alive.
All right, so the one thing I've noticed early, Gausman, his command was impeccable the first couple games. He's missed some spots pretty significantly, and that's a sign you got to watch if you're John Snyder, especially if you're not getting the swing and miss. The fastball location just a little bit off. He's still got the splitter working perfectly.
Fastball misses up. Not going to be any tricks, not going to be any surprises when it comes to Kevin Gausman, who's been in the league for 13 years now. It's 90% fastball splitter. You know what it's going to be. Just really hard to hit it when he's right. His 1-2. Taken low.
The splitters he comes around has more of a loop. The hitter can see it. The splitter that comes out naturally straight over the top, they can't see it. It drops straight down. That's the one they swing and miss at.
Rivas doing what he does right here. Betting on the quality of that bat. We're talking about all the strikeouts of these Mariners. Gives them a little bit of a different dimension. Trying to keep the inning going for Julio Rodriguez. Another 2-2 to Rivas. Another foul ball.
Here's the pitches when you're trying to see it. They all come out of the same slot. See, fastball stays straight. That's the four-seamer, and then the splitter drops below it. And that's what the hitter's trying to recognize. Very rarely will it be a high fastball and a low split that both the hitters will swing at.
8-pitch toss off. Rivas goes down swinging. He finished him off with the splitter. Eugenio Suarez came into the game 6 out of his last 50. Back to the end of the regular season. Connects and has Seattle on the board first in Game 5.
Welcome back to Seattle, joined by Mariners manager Dan Wilson. Your new lineup, what was your biggest consideration putting it together, Dan?
Well, I think, just kind of jumbling it up and creating a little bit different look and see what happens. And so far, so good.
Thanks so much, Dan.
Thanks.
I mean, this is seriously same thing. Third game in a row. The 8-hitter, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, doubles to lead things off. All time's talking to Dan Wilson, and now Andres Gimenez tries to make it 3 for 3 following that leadoff home run or leadoff double with a home run.
You can't make it up. I mean, I don't even know what to say. They should walk him.
I was half kidding yesterday when I said he's never going to talk to Tom again. Now, seriously, I don't know, Tom. That might have been our last conversation with Dan Wilson. Corners pinch in thinking he's going to bunt. They've not seen the last 2 days when he's hit the ball over the fence in this situation. And tries to become just the second player in Major League history to homer in the same inning of 3 consecutive postseason games. Likely guy to do it, right? Andres Gimenez, late-hitting shortstop, who hadn't homered since August, and it hit just 7 of them all year.
A part of this situation again, which makes Toronto so good. Very rarely do they strike out with runners in scoring position, and he's got 1 goal, and he had it accomplished it first 2 games here and got the runner over and got him in and drove himself in. This time he still wants to get the runner over to third with less than 2 outs.
On this 1-1 from Miller, he swings and misses. 1-2. Andres Gimenez in the 2 games in Seattle, 5 out of 8, 6 runs batted in.
The best way to prevent a left-handed hitter from doing that is a fastball away or a split away. Now the problem with a split away is he can still get that ball on the ground and pull it. Fastball away, harder to pull. More likely he will go with that pitch to left field.
Springer waits on deck as Gimenez waits on this 1-2 pitch. To first, caught by Naylor. Back to second, double play. Seattle writing a different story in Game 5.
I believe it was the splitter that he threw and he hung it. And that's supposed to freeze when you see a line drive, but that's a tough one to freeze on when you think about a ball being pulled to that side. And a great break for Seattle.
Springer tormented these fans for years with the Houston Astros in the American League West. They always have a nice greeting for him as he comes up. Struck out his first time today. He's hit 2 home runs against Bryce Miller this year. Not just Game 1, but he got him in the regular season as well. On 0-1.
bounces it gently foul. 1-2.
Bryce now 3 times trying to get that fastball in, has pulled it away. That's going to have to be corrected. You know, as a pitcher, the hitter didn't know that you were going in, so he thinks you're going away, but the intent was to get the ball in on that last pitch.
Took a sweeper. The 1-2 pitch. Springer takes another breaking pitch away, and the count evens up 2-2. Offense that has scored 21 runs over the first 2 games here in Seattle. Nothing doing against Bryce Miller so far. He fires 2-2. Back to game 1. First pitch of the ball game is 1-0 Blue Jays. That's coming off of the division series where they look like an unstoppable force. But just 1 hit the rest of the way against Bryce Miller, who's doing it again to the Jays here in game 5. Tap back to him. Miller's got it. And he's able to pitch around the leadoff double. Middle 3 in game 5 on a Suarez home run. Mariners have the lead. Dodgers go for the sweep later tonight on TBS. Shohei Ohtani starts for LA. If the Brewers extend the series, he'll be back at it tomorrow night, also on TBS. And on Sunday from Toronto, game 6. Dodgers 8-1 in this postseason. They've won 17 of their last 20 games, and when they needed to most, they started to look like the team everybody kind of thought they would coming into the year, with that pitching staff lining up the way they envisioned. Top of the order for Seattle, it's Julio Rodriguez to lead off, and he takes strike 1 from Kevin Gausman. Popped out to center field on the very first pitch of the ball game. You like the aggressive approach.
Yeah, Seattle's going to get back in this series because they start taking the fastball away from the Toronto pitchers.
Julio swings and misses as the splitter falls off of the table. Well, they've asked this guy to carry him before. They've turned to him to provide the spark before. Bigger picture. He was the hope as he came up through the minor league system. And then debuting in 2022 as Rookie of the Year. Fueled that return to the playoffs. And as talented as anybody in the game. Up at the top of the order. First time since July. Just the second time since April. And an 0-2 from Gausman. He takes inside, ball 1.
Every hitter probably wished they had a superpower if they knew the reaction. If they could cut the reaction from getting out of the way of the pitch on an 0-2 pitch and just let it hit them.
Yeah.
But it's natural. You just body says I got to get out of the way.
How about like Bryce Terang the other night with the bases loaded game 1 of the National League Championship Series? If he gets hit, they tie the game, but jumped out of the way, and you could even see it on his face, like, ah.
Yeah, it's just it's not normal to not get out of the way.
I don't know. Happy Gilmore is standing in there. 365 days till next hockey season. 0-2 to 2-2. Rodriguez sends a fly ball to right center field. No big deal for Addison Barger. 1 gone in the 3rd. Brings up Cal Raleigh, who crushed a double his first time up. It was his hardest hit ball of the postseason. Yeah, man, he just got something on Kevin Gausman. This is one of his 3 home runs of the postseason, tied game 1. And one of the 4 that he's hit against Kevin Gausman in his career. The blinking yellow ball is the one that he doubled off of this time. The big dumper takes the ball. What a season he's given these guys. What a season this fan base has been able to take in. Their hope is that, of course, the Mariners will be back here for the World Series. no certainty that this is not the last game that they have him here in this magical journey that they've shared together this year. Care Raleigh and this fan base. And there's something about him. There's an everyman factor to him, right? There's no flash here. There's a relatability, I think. He's in there every day. It's easy to latch on to a guy like that, and that's even before he hit 60 home runs. Teammates give him a really hard time about his growing fame, though, because they know how much he hates it. Like, he just wants to fly into the radar, catch the pitchers, handle the staff, and hit his home runs, go home, come back, do it again. He doesn't like all the stuff that comes around it. Fouls this off, and it's 3-2.
Nobody can work better back in the count than Gausman has. He very rarely goes 3-0, but he can get back in the count because now they got to fear that split finger on 3-2. He got fastball down for a strike, fastball in for a foul ball, and now the hitter has to know, I got to be completely sure this ball starts up before I can let it go.
Wow. Splitter dives under the swing, strike 3.
It's just the perfect weapon. At 3-0, you're supposed to be at a disadvantage as a pitcher. And if you get back in the count like he does, you got that equalizer that puts a hitter really in a box.
He's retired the first 2 in this 3rd inning, and up comes Jorge Polanco. Mariners up 1-0 on an Eugenio Suarez home run. Ball on Polanco.
It's a guessing game against Gausman. If you think he's throwing you a fastball here, you sell out for the fastball. I don't think he'll get it. Yeah, and there's the split. So it's a guessing game, and he was guessing fastball 1-0. He almost pitches backwards. He's comfortable 2-0, 2-3-1, throwing back a fastball to get back in the count. But then when you're in swing mode, he's going to throw an off-speed pitch.
Been throwing that splitter since he was in high school in Colorado. One of his coaches showed him the grip. And man, oh man, has he perfected it and made a career out of it. Trendsetter too. A lot of times you hear about the guys who are picking up splitters reference his and taking his grip. Just taking the example of incorporating that pitch. 30 different pitchers have thrown a splitter this postseason, and to give you a little bit of context of what a huge number that is, the previous decade there's been an average of 10 pitchers per postseason to throw a splitter. Copycat league, and there's another guy right there in your Savage. The lead cat that they're copying is right here when it comes to that pitch. Sticks with it and finishes off Polanco. Back-to-back strikeouts of Raleigh and Polanco on the splitter for Kevin Gausman. 2, 3, and 4 coming up for the Jays. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. bats second when you come back. Bryce Miller, who a few hours before the game will go out to center field and just visualize himself doing what he's done so far in this game. 3 scoreless innings, trying to put his Mariners within a game of the World Series. He's in there with strike 1 on Nathan Lucas.
He looks like a totally different pitcher than the regular season, and comfortable, repeating his mechanics, and for the most part, throwing the ball where he wants to.
Doubles up on the splitter, and that's rolled inside the bag. A fair ball for Lucas, who's headed to second with a leadoff double. It's the second inning in a row the Jays have had a leadoff double, and this time they've got Vlad Jr. following it.
Just inside the bag, and nothing you can do about it there. Playing the angles and where he normally hits it.
So now Vlad Jr., what are you doing against this guy? You putting him on?
Yeah. Yeah, this is a rare thing to do, especially in the playoffs, but that's how good this guy's been. The only other version I would have been okay with is pounding him in with all fastballs to get him to pull the ball, but they're not even going to take a chance. So they're going to go with Kirk, who's been a little bit off mechanically on that high fastball that we talked about how good he's been. He's been dropping that shoulder just a little bit, not getting to the high fastball.
Tying run at second, go ahead run at first. Alejandro Kirk takes it to the top of the zone as a first pitch sweeper. Kirk had struck out just once the entire postseason. Midway through yesterday's game, he's now struck out 3 consecutive at bats. Showed a moment ago, I want to make sure we reference that the Blue Jays, this is the first time all postseason they have not scored the first 3 innings.
They've been incredible.
Trying to get it started in the 4th. 2 on, nobody out. The All-Star Kirk lays off. Kirk, a guy that his manager John Schneider calls a unicorn. 5'8", 250 pounds. More than once he's been stopped by stadium security as he tries to walk in. No, sir. This is the players only area. He's also been an all-star more than once. He's ahead 3-1 here. Good hitters, good baseball players come in all shapes and sizes.
Tough scenario here. Guy who can hit 3-1 count.
Here comes Miller. Kirk takes ball 4 and the bases are loaded.
And there's the downside of intentionally walking a great hitter. I get it though. I mean, but it now puts your pitcher with no room, right? You can pitch around a guy, maybe get it out and get a guy like Guerrero out, but they weren't going to take that chance, and so they put the trust that they were going to make pitches to Kirk, and he didn't. And now an aggressive first pitch masher. He's trying to get after it, get after fastballs is Varsho.
Let's get a quick word from Strauss.
From the fields we farm to the fields we play, work wins the game. Strauss and Major League Baseball, gear for any season.
Don Varsho's been up with the bases loaded 3 consecutive games. He's 1 for 2 the first couple tries.
Your options here is a first pitch split or breaking ball just to reset that fastball hunting Varsho, or you try to throw it up and get him to pop it up.
And he has struggled fastballs up. Bases loaded, nobody out. It's left over the plate and he got away with it. Part of Varsho having his best offensive season has been that he's laid off those high fastballs more than usual. If you can't hit it, just don't swing at it. Easier said than done, but he's done it. 5 grand slams in his career. 1 ball and 1 strike. First real stress that Bryce Miller has faced since the first inning of game 1. Spires ready after throwing career high number of pitches yesterday. Varsho pops it foul. Strike 2.
Well, when you're in this situation, you can't pitch to give up no runs. You've got to be able to concede a run for an out and stay away from the big inning. The mindset is I can get out of it. I can strike this guy out and get out of it. And then a big inning comes up.
Wow, gets to that high fastball just barely to stay alive. Same story what you're talking about with the defensive alignment here. The middle infielders play back. They'll give up the run if they can turn 2. Which is a little different than the strategy we've seen, it seems like, proliferate across the postseason. More aggressive teams playing the infield in early in the game. 1-2 again. Varsho's down swinging. Got him with a splitter.
Great pitch on the inside part of the plate that looks better than it is. And I mean, that is a obvious huge out.
And now you got another very aggressive first pitch guy coming up in Ernie Clement.
Yeah. 0-2, hung a slider and he lined it to second.
Bases loaded in a one-run game in the fourth. Clement. That is a fair ball and a double play. A 2-inch tapper. They turn 2 and lead game 5. Mariners get out of a bases loaded, nobody out situation and still lead this game.
That was incredible. That ball was 1 inch from backing up in foul territory.
Like the surface was sticky. It just lodged down there. The ball was weighted.
I mean, it hits in the dirt and just you think it's going to die right there, but it's got that spin. And then watch how quickly Cal jumps on it. Wow.
Josh Naylor starts the fourth for Seattle and swats one to left field. Lucas won't get there. Cuts it off on a bounce, holds Naylor to a single. Lucas with a great job right there to save 90 feet, but Naylor's got a leadoff hit.
It's Randy's time. He's got to do something to electrify this crowd and get this offense going.
Now the hope for the Mariners has got to be a little pressure off him. He's out of the leadoff spot. They've gotten the big hit already with a home run from Suarez. No pressure on you, playoff Randy. Go be you.
Yeah, he's got to get on track if Seattle can get any consistency. He needs a mistake in the zone, and Gausman hasn't given one yet to him.
His struggles in the postseason really a continuation of the end of the year. And this is as hot and cold of a hitter as there is. He's been cold for a while, just .216 the last 2 months. On a 1-1 from Gausman, Rosarena pokes it on the ground to second. It's juggled by Connor Falefa, and so they get just one. It's going to be tough to turn 2 with Rosarena's speed, but that ensured it when he didn't glove it cleanly.
Well, let's see if he can get electric on the bases and maybe steal a base. Trying to make that transfer before he had the ball in the glove.
Rosarena 31 stolen bases on the year, takes his lead as Suarez comes up. A good first pitch slider. Rosarena, by the way, 3 stolen bases in this series already. Not been on base much, but when he has been, he's typically stolen a bag and typically coming to score. Rosarena has been on base 5 times prior to this in this championship series and scored all 5 times. Deadline pickup last year at first base. Deadline pickup this year at the plate. Suarez takes ball 2.
That's a really good pitch there. Better take, but really good pitch.
plate, fly to center field. Varsho. 2 out. They're talking about the little things off of the top and how the Mariners were losing those battles too, but the little things in this game so far defensively has helped Dan Wilson's team get around 3 doubles over the first 4 innings. Double plays each of the last 2. Defense has not been a strength of this team on the year. Good up the middle, which is what you want if you're going to be good somewhere, but not a ton of range. 2 out. Check on Rosarena. Wouldn't be a bad time for him to pull the trigger on a stolen base attempt, get into scoring position with 2 out.
Now, obviously, I haven't watched a ton of games, but I've watched more games than not, and I've never seen a runner, once the throw's been over, get a bigger lead, a one-way lead, and try to force another throw so then he's boxed in. You only get 3 throws to first, and a one-way lead is basically such a big lead that your first move is back to the bag. Trying to get a throw from the pitcher because your lead just got bigger.
There goes Rosarena. Throw from Kirk won't even happen. His 4th stolen base of the CS.
Huge jump, timed it perfectly, and this was no chance.
Can Crawford come through? Not this time. To the 5th we go. Seattle 1, Toronto nothing.
Welcome back to Seattle. We are here with Blue Jays manager John Schneider. John, obviously a frustrating end to the last inning. Bases loaded, none out. But overall, what have you thought of your approach against Bryce Miller?
I think it's been really good, you know. Had traffic almost every inning, and, you know, the line drive to first there with Izzy at second. You know, you want that one back for sure. And we got to just keep putting pressure on him, keep getting traffic on the bases, and you got to get the big hit. I thought last inning, everyone kind of did their part. Weird way to end it there with the tapper in front of the plate. Kind of want Ernie up there to make contact, and didn't work out. But we got to keep the pressure on.
Kevin Gausman, 62 pitches through 4. What have you seen so far?
I think he's got good stuff. I think his split's really good, and just going forward, I think just not be too predictable with it and use his fastball as well. The 1 homer to Gino, just, you know, first pitch heater. All right, get down. First pitch heater. I think he's navigated traffic really well too.
John, thanks a lot. Joe, back to you.
John, I hear you talk all the time about instant stress. You get the leadoff man on in the regular season, no big deal. Postseason, big deal. The Blue Jays, since the series come here to Seattle, are hitting above 500 to lead off the inning.
Yeah, these eventually don't work out in your favor. They flirted with danger for the last 2 innings and got out of it. And it's probably a situation here where they're going to make the move to, well, they are going to make the move.
Wow. Holy cow. Dan Wilson going to take the ball from Bryce Miller with nobody out in the 5th. These are the kinds of moves you get judged on. This is the life of a manager this time of year. Bryce Miller, 4 scoreless innings at 56 pitches, taken out of the game. And I know he got out of a bases loaded jam last inning, but part of that bases loaded jam was an intentional walk. And I know there was a leadoff hit here, and you're trying to get ahead of it. But what are the chances who you bring in is going to have better stuff than Bryce Miller had today? Isaiah Kiner-Falefa against Brash. Bunts to the first pitch.
I think the biggest thing right now that you and I talked about, you asked me what I thought. I said he was going to be aggressive with his bullpen, and he certainly has been aggressive. And this guy's one of the most nasty sliders and breaking balls, and he's not going to mess around saving him for anything. Now, this is aggressive. It would never happen in the regular season. The last couple innings probably led to him saying, I'm not so sure that Bryce is going to keep the traffic from happening. I mean, you're right. These are tough decisions that can only work out one way if the manager's going to be right.
Kind of a left after failing to get the bunt down, pops it up, shallow center field. Rodriguez calls off Crawford for the first out. Tom Verducci, what's your take?
Yeah, I'm shocked, to be honest with you, because of where we are in the lineup. Matt Brash is Dan Wilson's best right-handed high-leverage guy before he gets to the closer, and you're firing him into the game for the 8-hitter, and as we saw, that's a sacrifice bunt situation. It's not Vladimir Guerrero. So you're getting into the bullpen early, and you're using your highest leverage guy in what really was not a very high leverage spot. 8-9 coming up in the 5th.
Andres Jimenez fouls it off. And it's a bullpen that's given up 10 runs the last 2 games at 18 consecutive scoreless innings, finishing off the division series and opening up the championship series. And the top guys are relatively rested with Brash and Munoz, but Spire yesterday, 32 pitches is season high. It's a swinging bunt and a heck of a play by Brash to get that to first any way that he could to retire Jimenez.
Well, you know how I feel about starters staying in the game, but I think this is also about he doesn't trust his offense, right? I mean, his offense has not really set the world on fire. And, you know, in a game in the 5th inning, it's only 1-0. And that may have something to do with it, but I always feel like the guy that's on the mound that's in rhythm is your best choice. And we're going to find out how this plays out.
Kenny, what do you think?
There's another question looming over this whole thing right now, guys. And the question is, where is Brian Wu? When are we going to see him? Dan Wilson has talked about finding a soft landing spot for him. Maybe it's somewhere at the top of an inning here, but I don't necessarily see a soft landing spot when we're talking about a best of 3. So that's a question too. And I'm with Tom. I don't understand the move this quickly after this few pitches.
Well, there's an answer to your question, Kenny. Brian Wu begins to warm. And yeah, Dan Wilson told us yesterday looking for a soft landing spot. If yesterday wasn't that, I don't know what is. Maybe the qualifier he didn't add was a soft landing spot with the lead. But this certainly would not be soft if this is where he decided to deploy him.
Yeah, I just don't think Miller was going to give him the chance to get through this inning regardless of what happened. And then he made the decision to give his reliever an opportunity to get a couple hitters in before he faces the top of the lineup. So I just think when you make that move, you're not confident that your pitcher is going to get through the inning without taking him out, and he took him out as soon as he could.
All tied together. 2 balls and no strikes on George Springer, who's had an extra base hit in 5 games in a row. He launches a fly ball to left center field. It's carrying well. Rodriguez watches it hit off the wall and watches the scoreboard change to 1-1. Three batters after Bryce Miller leaves the game. George Springer doubles home the tying run against Matt Brash.
Breaking ball right there down the middle, and Springer thinks he might have got it, and he knew he had enough time if he didn't to get to second base. Blue Jays do it again.
Back at square one here in the 5th. Lucas now looking for the lead, takes a ball. Series tied, game tied. Got the call. Dan Wilson in his first season as the manager took over last year near the end of the season when Scott Service was let go. He is Seattle Royalties, the catcher on all those great Mariners teams, the late 90s, the early 2000s. Facing a different kind of pressure though in that chair. Lucas upset, I think, that he was allowed to throw that pitch. He wasn't quite ready. He's certainly not mad at the call. Pitcher's not supposed to be allowed to come set until the hitter is settled in, attentive to you for a beat. The 1 ball and 2 strikes on Nathan Lucas. Brash fires, ball 2.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. waits on deck. The 2-2 pitch. Full count. The run charge to Bryce Miller. The hit, though, against Brash. The 3-2. Taken for ball 4. He got ahead 1 and 2. Winds up walking him, and the wrong spot to do that. Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s coming up. Vladdy's reached twice more today. Doubled in the first inning. They just put him on in the 4th.
He is a machine when he gets locked in.
75% of the pitches he's seen in this series have been middle or away. They come in right here, and Vlad has adjusted and just so calmly and simply taken it where it's pitched.
Yeah, he's timing everything up.
Trying to give him the lead right here. He's ahead 2-0. After him, it's Kirk. Can make your name as a superstar during the regular season, racking up numbers, but to really go to that next stratosphere, that requires performing in the postseason, and he has done it. His 4th trip to the playoffs. First 3, he was 3 for 21 without an RBI. .471 with 11 knocked in this trip.
They've yet to pour in that inside strike on him, and again, got to make him see something different than he's been seeing.
On a 2-1, he tries to lay off and does. Leadoff single, Addison Barger. Wilson makes the change. Springer doubles him in. After the walk to Lucas, Vlad Jr. swings and misses. Count goes full.
Isn't it interesting, 1st and 2nd, there's still a base open, but you never consider it that way. Man on 2nd, nobody on 1st. That base open gets occupied with an intentional walk. You cannot give in to him here.
Payoff. Got him. There it was. Came inside with a fastball and struck him out. Halfway home in game 5. They go to the pen. Springer and the Jays make them pay. We're tied at 1. Series tied at 2. Game tied at 1. Bottom of the 5th. Dominic Canzone leads off for the Mariners against Kevin Gausman. First pitch splitters, cut on and missed. Canzone hit it hard his first time, but it was caught in right field by Barger. Can he lift the Mariners as he did when he came up midsummer? Hit above 300. Hit about 200 first couple of years, spot duty in the major leagues. This year was in the minors for the first 2 months and then got the call with some injuries and was their best guy for a while. Had 11 home runs this year. 3 of them came in 1 game just a month ago in Kansas City. He's not the biggest guy, but the ball really jumps off his bat. Former Arizona Diamondback draft pick, got traded here right after he had made his debut with the D-backs in 2023. Former Ohio State Buckeye in an 0-2 hole against Gausman.
Yeah, that splitter has been unbelievable again tonight. Nobody's done anything against it. And when he controls the count, he owns the hitter.
Able to get his bat on that. Weekly popped to third. Ernie Clement Hitters now 1 for 24 against that pitch, John, this postseason. Your team, your players, your postseason. You can follow all the postseason action. Download the MLB app, the #1 app for live baseball. I just love that it's an example of if you execute, it doesn't matter if they know what's coming.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. I mean, you gotta hang that pitch. When you throw it up, it doesn't have the great depth down and it just floats in the zone. That's when it's mediocre at best. But when you get down through it on the lower part of the zone, hitters have no chance of being able to stay off of it.
Leo Rivas. Second straight start for him. Found out before the game yesterday he was making his first career postseason start. 0 for 3 over the 2 games. A 1-0 pitch takes him south of ball 2. Brian Wu continues to warm for Seattle, and perhaps this is the spot. It is far from soft, but it will be a clean inning, and it'll be against the heart of the order. Wu, if you're unfamiliar with him, was one of the top starting pitchers in the league this year, but he's been out since mid-September. Injured his pec September 19th. And has been working back. Probably would not be back at this point if this was the regular season, but they activated him on the roster, getting every day, every hour that they can to get him fresh. That's a 4-pitch walk to the 9-hitter Rivas.
Very unusual for Gausman to do that. This could be a great moment for Seattle, turning the lineup over.
Let's get a quick word from FanDuel.
Make baseball come alive when you bet live this season with FanDuel.
This is the great cat and mouse for Julio Rodriguez. He's going up there after a 4-pitch walk. They're going to talk to him about what pitch and how to attack him. I would think if he sat soft, he's going to get something off speed.
Not necessarily a splitter or a slider.
I think more slider than a splitter. And sometimes you got to be, I mean, I know there's very few guest hitters in our league. They try to react to a location and they don't come off the fastball. I get that, but there's times where you can put yourself in the best case scenario. This might be one of them.
Rivas good speed at first. Bullpen going for the Jays. Gausman to Rodriguez. Strokes a line drive to center field, and it's right at Varsho.
He went right with the fastball, and he was on it. But the old Adam ball, right at him.
Not out of it yet. Cal Raleigh comes up. He's been the tormentor of Kevin Gausman. He hit it hard against him today. His hardest hit ball to the postseason, a first inning double. 475, 4 home runs against Gausman in his career. You wouldn't think that they'd risk taking the bat out of Big Dumper's hands here.
I wouldn't think so. But remember, this is the series of expect the unexpected.
So Rivas is going to be taken off next pitch. He's not. And the dirt, good pick by Kirk. Record-setting season for Raleigh. It's continued into October with his 3 home runs. Butterfly split right there. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That one just floated away. On the 1-1 pitch, Raleigh pokes it foul, strike 2.
28 years of age and his 5th year in the majors. He's been a great player for a long time. It just didn't really jump onto the national radar like this until this year. They've known about him around here, loves him around here for years. The 1-2 from Gausman, a high fastball dumped back. Been checking boxes all year. It seemed like every time that I checked during the regular season, he was passing somebody for something. Set the Mariners record, broke that of Ken Griffey Jr., set the record for a catcher, Sal Perez, a switch hitter, Mickey Mantle. Another stop by Kirk, 2-2 on Raleigh. The chant MVP here, it's not wishful thinking. It's a toss-up between Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge.
Well, a series like this that's tied 2-2 and who knows, could go 7. It comes down to some simple things as putting the ball in play, who owns 2 strikes, who swings and misses too much with 2 strikes.
2-strike pitch here. Raleigh pokes it into shallow left field. Lucas is there, and that's the inning. 5 in the books in game 5 and locked at 1. Welcome back to the 2025 American League Championship Series on FS1, presented by Loan Depot. Tied at 1 to the top of the 6th, and it is Bryan Woo, who is one of the top starting pitchers in the majors this year. 15-7 with a .294, but he's not pitched in a month. Alejandro Kirk leads off and pokes the first pitch he sees to right center field, headed for the wall. He's headed for second. Canzone's throw is cut off. A leadoff double for Kirk. And a rude greeting for Woo.
Well, he throws primarily fastballs, and he throws this first pitch fastball that Kirk finally gets the barrel of the bat where he wants it and splits the defenders. This is a trend that Toronto now 13 times now they've had the leadoff man on in the last 3 games, and 8 of those first 12 have scored. Now they're flirting and putting pressure again on the Seattle pitching staff.
4th consecutive inning they've had the leadoff man on. They've been able to cash in the 1 time today. Strike 1 on Varsho. There's that fastball that makes Woo special. Woo at one point this year had 25 consecutive starts of at least 6 innings. In an era like we see today of pitchers getting the earlier hook. Varsho bunts it in the air, foul, and it's 0-2. He was the last piece of this homegrown rotation, and really there was the least amount of hype around him. He was his 6th round pick. He was coming off surgery at Cal Poly, but he's turned into the best of the bunch. One of the top pitchers in the league this year. First time he's pitched in relief since he was at Cal Poly. Clean inning, but a whole lot different, I've got to imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. Your rhythm, your structure, everything you're used to doing, get a little bit out of sync, and you try to do it on the fly.
Parachuted right into a postseason game 4. Who out of Alameda, California, in the Bay Area. Didn't even pitch until he was a junior in high school. The arm's still very fresh. His 1-2 to Varsho is high for ball 2. He's always been an infielder. He only started pitching because his high school team was desperate for somebody to step up. He had a bunch of injuries his junior year. Look at him now. 25-year-old. Game 5 of the championship series. Kirk at second. Nobody out. 2-2. Ball 3. Ernie Clement waits on deck. Sky high, shallow left. Crawford caught off by Rosarena. One out. Here's Clement.
Well, you know he's going to be aggressive. A rare 0 for 2. It seems like every time he comes up the third time, he's got 1 or 2 hits lately.
The guy in Brian Wu that throws fastballs more than anybody in the majors. Sticks to who he is. Clement, one of the faces of who the Blue Jays are. Bottom of the order, length of this lineup. It's a .450 hitter in the postseason. Down in the 6th spot. Go ahead run at second. 1 gone, 6th inning. A tough pitch to lay off of. Three, 4, and 5 coming up for the Mariners in the bottom of the 6th. Jorge Polanco down in the batting cage getting ready to lead that off.
Doing it right-handed though.
Swatted to right center field, base hit for Clement. Kirk, the slowest runner in the big leagues. He's going to get there. The throw from Canzone was not close. And Toronto's taken the lead. Alejandro Kirk leads off the inning with a double. Scores on a go-ahead hit from Ernie Clement.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by this throw. I thought he had plenty of time to get it ready, and he just had it fading towards third base. Kirk was giving everything he had right there.
It was enough. They're having a blast with it over there in the Jays dugout. Clement took second with that poor throw, and he'll fan him off. Make sure that he's okay to put the gear on and go back out there to catch. So get out of here. Get out of here, Vlad. Jays, as they've done in this series, have come back. Barger. Bouncer. Rivas. 2 out. Ernie Clement does it again.
He does. I mean, this guy has.
Chugging. Guts. Clement at third. Kiner Falefa. You said it. You keep putting the pressure on, keep getting the leadoff man on. Eventually, that dam breaks.
That's 9 now. 9 of the last 13.
Over 4+ innings for Bryce Miller. He's taken out of the game. Brash comes in, gives up the tying run. And the next inning, the Blue Jays take the lead. Kiner Falefa, 2 hits yesterday. Had 2 and 1. Louis Varland, rubber arm Louis. Wu to the plate. Got a chase. 2 and 2. To Wu, takes it himself, but the Blue Jays have taken the lead, tying the game in the 5th, and getting the lead here in the 6th. Clement drives in Kirk, and it's 2-1. Kirk digs deep, scores from second. Jays have the lead 2-1 to the bottom of the 6th, and here is where things have unraveled for Kevin Gausman, not just in game 1, but in 3 of his 4 postseason starts with the Blue Jays. Happened against the Yankees in the division series, happened in game 2 of the wild card round, that disastrous game in 2022 against Seattle, where they came back and won 10-9 when they were down by 8. Gausman gave up 4 runs in that 6th inning, and so a fork in the road right here.
Yeah, the last game maybe not as evident as the first game. 2-out home run, and then left after 1 more batter.
1-1 strike on Polanco. John Schneider told us today that he spent some time reflecting after each game, the decisions he makes, and that he lost some sleep over that one, over taking Gausman out after the home run and then the walk to Rodriguez. And he said when Kevin is at his best, he's missing bats, and he just didn't think that he was missing bats at a very high rate there. He's got more swings and misses today than he had in game 1. Three, 4, and 5 for the Mariners here. Polanco, Naylor, or Rosarena. Two balls, 1 strike.
Well, he's had Polanco's number, and that's not been easy to do this postseason, especially early in this series.
Just 1 hit here in Seattle for Polanco. 2-2.
Struck him out each time with the splitter.
Tried to do the same, but it was taken for ball 3. Varland has been warming for a bit. Jays have the lead for the first time. Jorge Polanco leading off the bottom of the 6th. 3-2 from Gausman. Back to the splitter. Cue shot to short. Jimenez throws him out 1 away. They have the lead with Alejandro Kirk scoring from second, and that was a beauty to watch right there, Tom Verducci.
What a daring send by Carlos Febles, and here's why. It's the first time this year that Kirk has scored from second base on a single. 11 times he was on second for a single. 11 times Carlos Febles put the stop sign up. So here we are in game 5 of the ALCS with only 1 out. And he gives him the green light, and I thought for a moment there Carlos was actually going to beat him to the plate when he ran down that line. It just goes to show you, Joe, as an outfielder, you must know your runners like an infielder. You don't need a great throw. Take your time and make just a good throw.
It's like Carlos is thinking, hey, does it count if I score? Or can I step on home when we get the run? Naylor here, been their best hitter in this series, takes low. And I was not picking on the guy when I yelled he's the slowest runner in baseball. They track those things now, and he literally is the slowest guy in the sport.
You're just stating the facts.
Stating the facts, black and white. 2-2 series, 2-1 game. 1-1 pitch to Josh Naylor. Goes out to get that high fastball. It's scorched on a hop to short. Jimenez 2 out.
I think he catches the catcher again on his backswing.
Making a habit out of that.
Kirk's like, oh man, uncle. I know the catcher's set up close, but his backswing caught him again, I think.
This has been quite a few minutes for Captain Kirk.
Yeah, this is a follow through, catches him.
Got him in the knee guard there. Unfazed. 2 out and a Rosarena. Go for 2 today and 6 for 40 in the playoffs. This guy that when he's right, you cannot blink when he's up there. Ahead 2-0. Tying run at the plate. 2 gone in the 6th. Gausman fires. Ball 3. The home run hitter Suarez waits on deck. I wonder if that is where John Schneider will say that's it, and not let Suarez get another look at a guy that he's already taken deep. Ball 4. Arozarena with his speed is on with 2 gone here in the 6th. Suarez is headed for the plate. John Schneider's headed for the field. Statcast 3D powered by Google Cloud. His home run is the scoring for the Mariners in this game. John Schneider's not going to take a chance that it happens again. And so again it ends at 5 2/3 for the Blue Jays ace. John says if he jogs out there, that means there's a chance that you can keep on going. If I walk, your day's finished. He was walking slow. 2-1. Varland takes over with a tying run at first, and Suarez coming up. And the shadow of Mount Rainier. 2-1. Blue Jays ahead of the Mariners to the bottom. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. Kevin Gausman is out 5 2/3 in all 3 of his starts, and he hands it off to Louis Varland.
Varland, he's been pretty good, except 3 of the 6 hits have been homers.
Scoreless inning yesterday. High for ball 1 on Suarez. With 49 home runs during the regular season, top 5 in the major leagues. Connected on his 2nd in the postseason in the 2nd inning today. That has been it for the Mariners, and really home runs have been it for the Mariners. Able to check his swing. Is Arozarena moving at some point here?
I don't think so. I think they're going to want to see if he can run into one more. You see the 2 for 29 with men on base the last 3 games. Tells the story.
They have out-homered the Jays, but twice as many strikeouts as we detailed, and then those numbers.
Well, I think he will have the green light. So you can't just lay one in there. You can't assume he's taken. Through a slider.
Varland has pitched in 8 of the 9 games in this postseason for the Blue Jays. Right-hander acquired at the deadline from Minnesota, delivers, and he's walked in. Just misses up. Tying run goes into scoring position, and J.P. Crawford comes to the plate. Schneider asked him, is that up? Marvin Hudson said that it was.
Crawford is due for a big hit. Someone has to come through with 2 outs for the Seattle Mariners.
2 for 14 in this championship series.
Taking a lot of big swings. He'd take a bloop right now.
Two on, 2 out. Varland deals. Crawford takes it down the middle. It would be fitting if this was the guy to give him the hit. 7th season with the Mariners. Longest tenured shortstop in franchise history. As Arozarena at 2nd, Suarez at 1st. Ball and a strikeout. Solid glove man. Up and down career offensively, but the one thing he's always been is a clutch hitter. He's got 7 walk-off RBIs in his career. On this 1-1, Crawford takes low, ball 2. Chopper to 3rd, it's Clement. And the Mariners strand 2 here in the 6th inning. Varland gets out of it, still 2-1. Dodgers are going for the sweep in just a few minutes over on TBS. Their staff has a 1.54 ERA in this postseason, and Shohei Ohtani goes to the mound to try and finish it off. If the series continues, Game 5 tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern. We'll be with you for Game 6 on Sunday from Toronto. Andres Jimenez. Brian Wu stays in. Jimenez pokes the first pitch foul. Jays tied this game in the 5th inning. The double from Springer against Brash right after they had taken Bryce Miller out. And they took the lead last inning, and Brian Wu's first inning of relief since he was in college. Warm burner to second. Rivas. MLB Together is baseball's platform embodying the sport's commitment to philanthropic causes and mental wellness efforts by teams, players, and the league. To learn more, go to MLBtogether.com. Springer. The extra base hit in 6 straight.
They'll be ready to go first pitch.
Out of 6, 3 home runs and a double on the first pitch in the playoffs.
Yep. Those are the guys you love when you can make a pitch as a pitcher. You know, you get an aggressive hitter, quick out, quick inning, but they're miserable if you make a bad pitch.
Oh, got away from him and hit him right on the kneecap. That sounded terrible.
Yeah, this one just races in and catches him right on the top of the kneecap. As you're right. I mean, that is the sound alone.
Oh. Vlad Jr. the MVP in terms of production, but when you add everything in, what this guy's meant as a leader, as a spark at the top of the lineup, you could make a good argument that this is their most valuable guy. John Schneider was just talking to us today about how it's been the best of both worlds with George. You know, you got the veteran experience. He's played in 75 postseason games, but also that he's like a kid, has so much fun down there, and everybody feeds off of that. Everybody else can kind of fall into place and just do their job because they know they got George.
He wants so bad to stay in the game. There's just no way. Oh, he's gonna.
Sure.
Golly. You could tell he wants to stay so bad, but they're going to have to override something if they feel at all he could chance to further hurt himself.
But obviously, the big issue here is running the bases. It is worth mentioning he is the DH. So you don't have to worry about him running around in the outfield. It's just, my gosh, can't even walk. There's no way.
You wouldn't think.
Sometimes they say cover your eyes, cover your ears if you're queasy.
There's no way they can let him in.
And they won't. Joey Loperfido is going to make his postseason debut here for the Blue Jays. Added to the roster yesterday when they took Anthony Santander off with the back issue. Blue Jays have the lead in this game, but with their sights set on winning the whole thing. There's a somber mood over this moment. George Springer limps off of the field after getting hit on the knee by a Brian Wu fastball.
It's getting worse the more he's walking. You just got to hope for the best, and they're going to get treatment on it and obviously check it out.
Loperfido, by the way, one of the fastest guys in baseball, over there at first base with Nathan Lucas at the plate. Ball one. Double and a walk today for Lucas, guy that started this season as their 4th outfielder, just trying to hang on, happy to be in the big leagues, hitting .345 in the playoffs as the 2-hitter for the Jays. Bouncing ball towards the middle. Loperfido is moving with a pitch. Throw from Suarez just in time to get Lucas. So Loperfido's into scoring position. Spire warming again. Rizzardo joins him. Going to put Vlad Jr. on here. Second time they've walked him intentionally in this game, and the 3rd time in this series. And so it's Alejandro Kirk, who started last inning with a double and had his epic romp around the bases, scoring from second for the first time this year on a base hit from Ernie Clement. The difference in this game. Fouls off Wu's first pitch. There's a Wu fastball that he hit for the double.
Only one clean inning. 6 of the 7 have been traffic on the bases.
Bouncing ball. Wu pounces on it, flips it over to first to get Kirk. And end the top of the 7th inning. We stretch in game 5 in a 1-run game. Bring it back with Fox Foresight, powered by Google Cloud. Mariners given a 57% chance to score 2+. Led the majors in 1-run wins this year. Trailed this game 2-1. Thanks to Google Cloud for these real-time insights. Dominic Canzone takes a first pitch changeup from Louis Varland downstairs. For the Mariners in this 7th inning, it's 8-9-1. Canzone, Rivas, and Rodriguez. Canzone would love a chance to atone for his errant throw that aided Kirk in scoring the go-ahead run. Canzone in right field. Robles normally there. He's really good defensively, but the bat has been such a problem that Robles not in the lineup. Canzone is. Ball 2 from Varland. The 2-1. Lifted down the left field line towards the corner. It goes. Lucas is over there, and it's just foul. Man, oh man, threatened to hit that foul pole. Let's see how much that missed by. Dan Wilson's not convinced that it did. It's just foul. Wow. Over the fence, but wide of the pole by about a foot.
the call on the field was foul ball. We have a crew chief review for a potential home run.
That flight of that ball was rich with tension and drama. Replay review is presented by Zoom. Off the bat, it was like, yeah, fly ball to the corner. Maybe. Wait a minute. And then it was foul. You do get 2 challenges in the postseason.
But this one's a crew chief.
Okay, so he'll still have 2. Thankfully, I'm a lip reader, and I'm sure a lot of you are too. It's foul ball. We said the issue for Lou Varland has been the long ball. There's not been a lot against him, but has given up 3 home runs in this postseason. The Blue Jays bullpen, something that's been a question for a lot of the year. 6 ERA in the postseason. 2-2 from Varland. Check swing. He went around. Strike 3. So the question again goes down that left side, and this time the third base umpire says he went around, strike 3. 1 pitch after he was that close to tying the game in that direction.
Yes, he did.
One out for Rivas. We talk about this bullpen struggling down the stretch, though. Quietly, it became a strength. In fact, the Blue Jays have not lost a game that they held a lead in since September 1st. 1 ball, 1 strike. Brendan Little's ready. Julio Rodriguez waits on deck as Rivas is ahead 2-1. Keep on going to Varland. John Schneider unfazed by those deep balls. He said he loves this guy. Got at the deadline. Took him some time before he was comfy with his new team, his new city. He's a Minnesota kid. He had pitched for his hometown team. It's the only organization that he had known. Two and 2 to Rivas. Foul back. Checking with Ken Rosenthal.
I talked to John Schneider about George Springer, and Schneider said it was close. Springer wanted to stay in, but ultimately he was in too much pain and discomfort, and the Blue Jays wanted to play it safe with Game 6 coming. Springer needed help getting down the dugout steps and down the steps into the clubhouse. He'll obviously get checked out now, and we'll have more after the game.
It hit his knees so hard that it registered on StatCast as a batted ball, 55 miles per hour off his knee. Payoff to Rivas. Rivas looking for his first hit of this series, but he's continued to give him these long at-bats. 8th pitch coming here. Top of the order waiting. Fly ball, left center. Varsho says you've got it, and Lucas does. Start your Saturday strong with Big Noon as Bryce Underwood and Justice Haynes lead Michigan against Washington at the Big House, all starting at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific. Big Noon kickoff live on location from Provo, Utah, and then Huskies and Wolverines only on Fox. Well, Rodriguez moved up to hit leadoff, and the game finds him right here as the tying run with 2 gone in the 7th. Rip and a miss.
He's the guy, though. He would send this crowd into a frenzy.
Back-to-back breaking pitches to put him in an 0-2 hole.
We sent him into a frenzy in the first inning of Game 3 here. When he went deep, he singled his next time, but he's 0 for 8 since then. Stuck with the breaking stuff. Rodriguez took this one. Farland's 1-2. Rodriguez rounds it foul, stays alive. 4 pitches, all curves. Sticking with that?
Yeah. I mean, what you don't want to do is make that mistake. Middle to middle in. So stay away.
He did, and he struck him out. Louis Varland, who they keep on leaning on, standing tall. A 1-2-3 7th and a 2-1 lead for the Blue Jays. Winner moves to within 1 win of the World Series.
Back down. You can stand me up at the gates. That's how you let the beat feel, beat feel. That's how you let the beat feel, beat feel. That's how you let the beat feel, beat feel. Let the beat feel, beat feel.
Back in Seattle, 2-1. Blue Jays ahead here in Game 5. With the series tied 2 games apiece. Gabe Spire, the left-hander, comes in here with a couple left-handers coming up for the Jays. Varsho, Clement, and Barger. Well, they used Spire yesterday. Well, they were down by a bunch, and he threw a season-high 32 pitches. Bit of a questionable move there, burning that many bullets from one of their top guys chasing the game. But he's back out there feeling okay. Somebody they've leaned on all year. 2-0 to Varsho.
Yeah, the old day off can be a burden for relievers because you're like, oh, you got a day off. You can go 3 in a row and do all these things. And I definitely think that the staff has been worked a lot because the Blue Jays have been just grinding out at bats. Nothing easy. I mean, they easily could have 5-6 runs tonight. And credit Seattle for at least limiting the damage down to 2 bases loaded, nobody out. They didn't get a couple man on seconds, nobody out.
Got 7 hits, 4 walks, a hit batter. I wanted the 2 runs to show for it. Seattle's pitchers have kept them in this game, but it's the same story for the offense. All they've had is the one big swing from Suarez. A 3-2 from Spire to Dalton Varsho. Easy one for Crawford. And in the 8th. Road team is perfect in this series. Road team outscoring the home team 36-11. Taking on shades of the 2022 or 2023 American League Championship Series. Texas against Houston, where the road team won every game. Here's a high fly ball off of the bat of Ernie Clement. Back goes Rosarena onto the track at the wall. He's got it. Rosarena with a leap in front of the fence and a tip of the cap from Clement. It stays 2-1.
Would have been close.
So 2 outs in the 8th inning. Addison Barger instead Miles Straw. So with the lefty on the mound, pinch hitter Miles Straw goes up there. That'll also improve the defense. Straw will take over in right field. 2 for 8 in this postseason. Straw leans out, sends a fly ball to center field. Rodriguez on the run. He's there. 2, 3, and 4 coming up for Seattle. Cal Raleigh to lead things off in a 2-1 game. Here comes the home run champion, Cal Raleigh, in a 2-1 game. And for the first time in this series, he's going to bat right-handed. John Schneider calls on Brendan Little. They've wanted to give Raleigh different looks. Faces him for the first time here, representing the tying run, bottom of the 8th. Little misses away. Miles Straw, after pinch hitting, stays in, plays left. Lucas flips over to right.
I'll say this. They do a great job firing up this crowd in between innings. And the best way to fire up this crowd is to do something offensively. They have struggled since coming home offensively, have been non-existent. They need something huge to happen quick. And they're going to be trailing in this series.
Here's a high fly ball, deep left field. Did he get enough? He did! Big dumper! Biggest swing! Game 5 tied!
See, that's louder than anything they've done in between innings. That is a moment. Who knows? A moment. He's had a lot.
He dumps 64 over the left field wall and ties game 5.
This is the highest home run I've seen live, and there was still doubt that this was going to be robbed. And you called it, is it enough? And it was barely enough.
They've been waiting forever. Polanco now. Visit from the pitching coach, Pete Walker, after Little gives up the leadoff home run to Cal Raleigh. Polanco takes ball 2. And it's got to feel like the walls are closing in on Brendan Little.
Well, he knew coming in who he was facing, turning around 2 guys. And only guaranteed to face one lefty, really, and that's the 3rd hitter, Naylor. Was hoping to have that sinker not provide a long fly ball. That's for sure.
You know, it's one of the many amazing things about Cal Raleigh's season is that he's done it from both sides of the plate. It's like, pick your poison. If you're a manager, where do you want him to hit? That's been the biggest change from previous years. He crushes left-handed pitching. Came into the year with an OPS for his career against lefties of 700, which is below league average OPS. This year it's above 1,000. MVP territory from his weaker side.
And he's just a, oh shucks. Oh shucks, they hit a home run.
It's part of why it's so easy to love him. He's the everyman. 2-2. And the dirt, ball 3. Mariners now getting greedy. They've tied it. Got their 3-hitter up there with a 3-2 count. Polanco, one big swing after another in these playoffs. This time he doesn't swing, and he's got to walk. Well, in the top of this 8th inning, Ernie Clement was this close to getting it out of here. It's going to be close if he didn't catch it. If I was going to hit the front side of the wall or get off the top of it. Raleigh got it over the fence. The first late drama of this ALCS. Ball on Josh Naylor.
It's been amazing how much Toronto's pressure has been on Seattle, and yet you would think they would have, like we talked about, 5 runs. They only have two swings. And Seattle's got this game tied with 2 solo home runs.
Go ahead run at first. That's Polanco. Little's 1-1 pitch. In the dig to Naylor, ball 2. And at this point, that 3-batter minimum cannot be fulfilled fast enough if you're John Schneider sitting over there. Dominguez ready for Rosarena. Mariners hoping that it's too late. 2-1. Not close. Bring 2. Takes ball 4. Go ahead run into scoring position. John Schneider back to the bullpen. All 3 batters that Brendan Little faces reach. Reach, an understatement for what Cal Raleigh did to start this inning. His 64th home run of the season. His biggest one yet. Brendan Little against the teeth of the lineup here succumbs. Sir Anthony Dominguez comes on. 2 on, nobody out in a 2-2 game. Randy Rosarena takes downstairs, ball 1.
And if you're wondering, is there a chance he could bunt? What say you, Joe?
No chance.
He's never laid down a bunt in his career.
2 balls and no strikes. And the leaping defensive play in the top of this inning. A nightmare of a postseason for Randy Rosarena, but he's got a chance to play hero right here. Mariners looking for the lead, looking for the World Series for the first time ever. Wow. 2 balls and 1 strike. He came unglued on a fastball that was on a tee.
Wow.
Still behind their guy. Who on a 2-1 pitch gets it. It's unraveling on the Jays. Bases loaded, nobody out. You hit a guy who can't hit.
Well, scenario is flipped. Bases loaded, nobody out. And this is not one of those that you try to just give up 1 run, because it's the bottom of the 8th and you got to go with the infield in, a swing and miss type guy, strikeout.
Suarez, 1-0. The problem with Dominguez in this spot, he has problems with walks. That's one that goes 500 feet and swinging.
Yeah, if you know that pitch is coming, that one's the one that the hitters dream, but he was taken.
Suarez somehow gets his bat on that, fouls it off, 1-2.
So that swing right there, if you're paying attention between the pitcher and the catcher, was almost in the left-hander's batter's box. This pitch has to be right back in that same spot.
Gave him their first run with a home run. Bases loaded, nobody out in the 8th. Suarez takes down.
Got one more chance, and then that's it. Meaning one more chance at a pitch away off the plate to get him to swing. That one started too low.
Also worried about a wild pitch with Dominguez. 2-2. Fastball. Skied foul. Out of play.
The one thing that Suarez really never comes off of is fastballs. Doesn't mean you can't get one by him. It's just he's not going to come off the fastball. He's more susceptible to the breaking ball on the outer third of the plate.
Another 2-2. It's another fastball. It's driven the other way. It's got a chance. It's a grand slam. Seattle is shaking. The Mariners lead game 5, 6-2. Second home run of the game for Eugenio Suarez is an opposite field grand slam.
I just can't believe they went with a fastball. And just that pitch selection right there with a guy that's been struggling and never comes off the fastball. You allow him to have a chance to do what he did, and boy, oh boy, did he deliver.
Crawford flexes one into shallow left center field, and finally the first out of the inning. After the 4th grand slam of the year from Suarez.
Fastball, same swing, maybe a little late, but the power and the ability to hit a fastball has never been questioned by Suarez. It's can he stay off the breaking ball?
Wow. Canzone with one away. Well, it shows you where Toronto's at on Jeff Hoffman, who for a lot of the year has been their closer. This would be the spot to deploy him 2, 3, and 4. Instead, they go Brendan Little. He gives up the home run to Raleigh, walks the next 2 guys. Dominguez comes in and gives up the grand slam, and the lead is gone.
It's a helpless feeling, right? The managers both have had some decisions that when they work out they could feel great, but then they don't, and it's a gut. It's just like in your bottom of your gut. You trust your guy. The guys that come in normally would do X. They didn't.
Rivas grounded to second. The Mariners had 7 runs in the 3 games here coming into this 8th inning. They get 5 and change everything. Raleigh tied it. Suarez popped the top off this place with a grand slam to the 9th. Play Ball is baseball's global youth initiative to highlight the fun and accessible ways to play our great game. To learn more, including how to find a league near you, go to playball.org and follow @playball on X, Facebook, and Instagram. Mariners 3 outs away from becoming the first home team to win a game in this championship series. Andres Munoz, well rested, has not pitched since Sunday. Flames in a strike to Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. 6 1/3 in this postseason, has not given up a hit. A little bit outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. It all took 3 games for this place to really rock. It wanted too badly those first 2 games.
Sure did.
Victor Robles into the game playing right, replacing Canzone. But when it rocked good. First it was Raleigh, and then it was Suarez, his 2nd of the day. All 6 runs for the Mariners via the home run. 11 out of the 12 in the 3 games here. Live by it, die by it, and in game 5, living.
Yeah, a lot of things had to happen though to get those home runs, and a lot of pitches, a lot of takes, and some big walks.
When we wrap up, stay tuned. They've got the post-game show presented by Strauss. Of course, our all-star cast, Kevin Burkhardt with Alex Big Papi and Derek Jeter. Right when we wrap up. Update you on the Dodgers-Brewers game. They'll tee up game 6 of this series in Toronto Sunday night. Strikeout on Jason Jimenez. Trey Savage in his 9th major league, or in his 6th major league start, is going to try to save the Blue Jays season.
I mean, this game, I mean, obviously it never could happen this way, but if this game was played 10 straight times the same way, the Blue Jays, with all that traffic, will have done damage. 6 runs, 7 runs. They didn't get it done tonight. Seattle was able to make plays and get out of those jams, and then they were in the game long enough to get 2 huge swings in the 8th inning. You can't keep flirting against the Toronto Blue Jays, though. If you're Seattle, even though you may be up 3 games to 2, you're going to have cleaner innings, because that place in Toronto will be just as loud as here, and that offense is still not going anywhere.
Logan Gilbert, the likely starter for the Mariners. He did not pitch great when he faced this lineup in game 2. Lazy fly to Rosarena, 2 gone in the 9th. And these Mariners have gifted these fans quite a summer. At least one more gift for them right here. This comeback in game 5. The Mariners fans are hoping that they get another shot at this. And a shot in the World Series for the first time. Loperfido.
I mean, they have been the most active fans. Now, granted, they have never been to the World Series, and they knew coming home really only had to win 2. Now they're lucky enough to be in a situation to only have to win 1 more, it looks like. But this crowd is like had a huge party all day, and for the last 3 days, this one felt the best.
Up the middle, Crawford, so close they can taste it. The Mariners take a game 5 thriller. Their 1 win from the World Series. Eugenio Suarez came into this game 6 for his last 50. Connects on a solo home run in the second inning. And the biggest of his 52 home runs this year, a grand slam to win the game in the 8th. Of course, Big Dumper was in the middle of it. Cal Raleigh tied it. His 4th home run of the postseason, 64th overall. It was the home run that defined this team all year. That and the pitching. And don't forget about the pitching in this game. Just 2 runs allowed. Here's the swing, though, that they'll talk about forever.
You're not kidding. I mean, fastball, center cut. If nothing else, it was going to get the lead run in, and it ended up getting 4 runs in. And it's a moment. They were waiting for the moment. They got the moment. Now they have to cash in after a day off and head to Toronto.
Well, they have the double, and they've been playing that for 3 decades. Now they have the grand slam. It's Eugenio Suarez giving the Mariners a 6-2 lead, and he stands by with Tom Verducci.
Thanks, Joe. Gino Suarez, 12 years in the major leagues, more than 300 home runs. But this trip around the bases, tell me what that felt like, what you were thinking.
Obviously, this is the biggest home run in my career. Woo! Yeah, like I say, it's got to be the biggest home run in my career. It was so special. I've been waiting this for a long time. It's been a while to have a game like this today. It was awesome to be able to hit that grand slam there and give it a win to my team, to the fans. They've been here supporting us all year long, all season series. Nobody says it's gonna be easy, but you gotta fight. You gotta stay in the fight, never quit. And I glorify God because He gave me the power. He put everything on myself. I lock in myself right there and just try to drive one in, and God is good, and I dream for.
Well, Gino, take me through that at bat, because it wasn't just one swing. 6 pitches, an epic at bat. What was your approach, and how did it change with 2 strikes?
I mean, I know you got to go to stop. I tell myself, don't let that fastball beat you. I know he's gonna, at some point, gonna throw me one right there. Not try too much, lock myself in, and try to put a ball in play. I know I got enough power to at least drive my in, and I hit that big fly right there, and now we win the game.
Gino, it's your 2nd time here with Seattle. You know what baseball means. What's the Mariners mean to this town? Right now, the Mariners are closer to the World Series than they've ever been. You have the opportunity to go to the World Series in Toronto in Game 6. Tell me about that opportunity and what it means for this franchise and this city.
It would be special. This year has been special for everybody in this organization. For our fans, they've been waiting a long time for this moment, and we're here to give it them. We're here to fight for the World Series, not only for the ALCS. We're here to fight for the World Series. We want to give it to them. We want to stay in the fight, and we need them to stay with us in the fight.
Congratulations, Gino.
Thank you so much.
Well, a couple of guys have added their names right along there with Edgar Martinez and postseason heroics. Jorge Polanco in the division series. Cal Raleigh, Eugenio Suarez here in a memorable Game 5 of the championship series. The Mariners are a win away from their first trip to the World Series with a 6-2 win. The comeback rally shoe worked. Kevin, take it away.